It is quite an informal format. We just let you get on with it, crack on, have a bit of food, have a bit of chat, whatever. But we do like to add a little bit of value at the end if we can, just so everyone gets to go away and learn something. Go home, tell your friends and everyone how great it is, and then they can all come to the next event. But what we try and do is just add a bit of value by having a little 10-minute, what we call 10-minute team talk at the end of each session. It's not a sales pitch, it's not someone standing up here trying to sell you their product for 10 minutes. It's very much just a little bit of added value, something that you can take back into your day-to-day business life that might help you out. Today we're very lucky to have a local legend, Laura Bruzulier.
Okay.
She is the networking ninja, so it's quite apt that we're going to start off the new year with a little bit of advice on how to, really get sort of a networking strategy in place. So, without further ado, the networking ninja, Laura Bruzulier. Thank you.
Thank you guys. So Laura from Networking Ninja. I started this business purely because I started out networking and I was like, what the hell is this? I had a sales background and I was very much like in, talk business, out. And when I went to one of these events and I saw there's no instant business happening, what is the point? Everyone just seems to have a jolly, it's a waste of my time, a waste of my resources. I could be back in the office just hounding LinkedIn or emails or whatever. And it took me a while, a lot of trial and error to figure out what networking was and what a strategy to put in place. Now we all know time in the business is currency, so it's time equals money out of your business. So I came up with this because I couldn't find any support myself to help me with my networking journey, so I'm here to try and help other businesses avoid all the mistakes that I made. So, apologies because I know a few of you in the room have heard this probably about 3 times now at various different networking events. But this is a story why you should sort of network. So this is Mark Wright. He won The Apprentice in 2012 with Sir Alan Sugar, and he was out doing his business for digital marketing, and he was giving out free talks at schools, seminars. And the board called him in and said, "You're not making us any money, Mark. What are you playing at? So reel it in, come back in and start doing your sales." So he said, "Right, well, just let me do my last 3. So that's right, all right, carry on, you do you, Mark." He did his last 3, and in one of those seminars, a young girl came up to him and said, "My dad would like to do work with you." And he said, "Okay, well, get him to contact me on LinkedIn." And he did. It's his biggest client ever, Emirates. So it just goes to show the value of networking and going out there, because you're not just talking to the person directly in the room, it's all their contacts out of there. So again, a bit of an experiment, Nancy Klein, she does a boardroom experiment, and what that means is she had a room full of people, asked one person to stand up and talk for 4 minutes. The person stood up, she told the rest of the room to look at this person with warmth, safe environment so this person could talk freely. This person started talking, after 40 seconds they started to freeze, flight, fight senses kicked in, they just wanted to bolt. Now Nancy Klein got the rest of the room to say, encourage this person to continue talking, and once that survival instincts cut off, the brain then became comfortable, it noticed that the environment was safe, it then started spiraling on to conversations that even the person didn't know themselves that they were going to have during that stood up for that presentation. So it just goes to show that you make that other person feel welcome and safe in a conversation, and the conversation can lead on to more things than you realise. So be the most interested person in the room. So stop peacocking, stop talking all about yourself, and listen to other people, okay? So you are the host of the conversation. Pretend you've got an Airbnb, for example. You are there purely to make them feel welcome, feel that the experience is fantastic, etc. That's how you should be treating your networking conversations. It's all about them, okay? So they won't remember what you said, but how you made them feel. So again, back to the warmth, the safe environment, make them feel listened to. If you're like scattering the room, looking at everyone else and not concentrating on what that person has to say, they're not going to trust you, they're not going to want to do business with you, because why would they? Build a community, so common unity, find common ground. Saying a person's name 3 times, people actually like their name being said, so try and say it at the beginning of a conversation, the middle, and round it up at the end. It's a more of a personal approach. Asking the right questions, so forget business talk, go in straight with the personal, build the relationships the business can come after. And most importantly, smile. because so many people don't smile, and why? Like, I'm not going to approach you if you've got a face miserable and non-approachable, so just smile. Okay, so again, asking the right questions, ask the unexpected, because today you go to a networking event, you expect to talk business, so your brain's prepared for that. Ask a question that's not expected to then reignite the brain to go on a different path to talk about different things. You are going to be much more memorable to that other person if you're going to talk about something unexpected, because the brain actually has to work then. So give more than you receive. So it is a karma circle. The more you give, if that other person is a decent human being, they're going to feel entitled that they should give back. Okay, so the more you give, the more you will receive in the long run. Trust the process. It's not a marathon. No, right there. Not a sprint, it's a marathon. Thank you. The coffee. So add value to that person. We all think, oh God, well, I don't have a need financially to buy this person's services. It doesn't have to be financial, just anything. So knowledge is power. You could have a connection that when everyone was doing their 60 seconds then, I was writing down in my notebook, who do I know that can help that person? I'm going to try and add value. I don't know them, but I'm going to try and give as much as I can. So in future networking events, write them down. Think of all your connections in the background, how you can help. Hints and tips from your field of expertise, other networking events that you can recommend to them, and again, the introductions. So relationships are relationships at the end of the day. So you won't go on a first date and then go, right, let's get married, have a house, I'm pregnant, and we've got a dog. It just doesn't happen that way. And it's the same with business relationships. So you have to build the trust, nurture it, and then it comes along the business. So in the long run. So again, going back to the names, trying to remember everyone's names when you go to a lot of networking events can become an impossible task. So this is just like a little hint and tip. So this is John from networking. John, you've just met. John, you're going to forget his name as soon as you walk out the door. Okay? This is also John. John is your annoying neighbour that's just there all the time. He's unbearable, you cannot forget him as much as you try. So you now associate annoying John with John you've just met in networking. John from networking doesn't have to know that you're thinking of annoying John when you're talking to him. But it doesn't matter how you remember John's name, it just matters that you do. Okay? An action plan. So it takes 21 days for you to make a conscious change to then become part of the norm. So give yourself an experiment. It could be in, I don't know, a diet, or getting active, or something that you really don't want to do, but you know you must do. Give yourself 21 days, commit it, have an experiment with yourself. After that 21 days, you won't even think about it. It will just become part of your natural habitat, part of your routine. So put that to networking. If you're not comfortable with networking, just put yourself out your comfort zone for 21 days and you'll see how much better it becomes. So consistency, attend regular, give more than you receive, eventually you'll see then the results. So again, first comes the challenge to then get the change. And as you can see, the word change itself is in challenge. LinkedIn. I don't see enough people utilising LinkedIn. You go to a networking event, okay, you meet the person that's in charge of marketing. It's not the decision maker. Don't need that card, chuck it in the bin. Find that business on LinkedIn, go to the People's tab and look for the decision maker. Add them as a friend. Don't send a little note in there because they're likely not to accept you. Add them as a friend and then do sort of posts that are relevant, that add value to that person, how you can help them. Don't try and just sell them a product, etc., because you'll just lose straight away. So it is a database that's free to use. So post networking action. Get as many business cards as you can. Go back, add them on social media, add them to a CRM system. There's no excuse not to have a CRM system because there are free ones. HubSpot, you can write that one down if you haven't heard of it. What I tend to do is write a post, and I know Steve's done a few of these. You tag all the people that you've met that day, just a thank you, etc. And you're not only reaching your network, but you're reaching every single person in that post, their network. So again, add them to a database. You've got MailChimp and Brevo, you can send campaigns. Again, don't go in with salesy, just go in with added value. So that person will be wanting to receive your campaigns rather than unsubscribe straight away. Stay visible and present. On average, someone has to see you and your brand 7 times before they trust you enough to buy from you. So if you're not seeing them regular at a networking event, you need to be on the social media so that they see you and your brand consistently. So again, remember, you're not just talking to the person in the room, you're potentially reaching their entire network. So there we are. So obviously people having chats with their family at home, their friends, etc. You don't know who you're speaking to through their connections. And that's it. Any questions, guys? Don't all rush at once.
No one's got any questions?
What's your tactic on LinkedIn, Laura, then? So you've made a connection with people. Obviously, everyone in this room have had accepted a connection, and then 30 seconds later a sales pitch comes through.
I usually charge for this, but I tell you what, obviously I don't want to play all my tricks at once. So what I would do as strategy, if I'm sort of aiming at a certain industry, let's say, then I would add loads of people from that industry, and then I would start to do a campaign of social media that speaks directly to them. So they've added me, we're friends, I haven't sent them any pushy sales, but gradually I'm going to start brainwashing them by sending them posts that are relevant to them and their industry. So again, it's sort of different tactics, but that's just one of them. If you want to know more, hey, sorry.
Any more questions for Laura?
Okay,
I've got a question about
Yep.
brain freeze when you're doing a presentation. It actually happened to me once.
Yeah.
Presenting an award. What was it that she did with the audience to actually make that person feel more at ease? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Say that again. So
What was it you said about the lady that made the audience made the speaker feel more at ease? What was it?
yeah, it's just literally just eye contact, smiling, making it feel a warm environment so that that other person then feels almost safe to talk and open up to you. So then the end game is, if they're safe and open up and talk to you, you've made a personal connection, they like you as a person, and then it will snowball into the fact that you've built that relationship, which will end up in business.
Okay. Oh, no.
Where do you recommend you go networking, please?
Oh, I have loads. If you take one of my business cards, I share all local ones on my business page.
There you go.
Obviously the first front one, but yeah, so I tend to be non-biased, so I just try and share as much knowledge as I can with local businesses on where to go.
Thank you.
Good.
Laura, thank you very much. A round of applause.